Okay, here's the video for the function notation and rules quiz. Function notation just refers to how we write functions. I'll show you what I mean here. Okay, so what we say here is if E equals G of T, okay, so E equals, I'll just type this out so you can, equals G of T, all right, E equals G of T, that's what that says right there. All right, what is the independent variable in the table below? Okay, independent. All right, independent, we have two kinds of variables. You have dependent variables and independent variables. Your independent variable, there's a few ways to think about the independent variable. Independent variable, in this case, whatever, when you have function notation, your independent variable is whatever happens to be there. So in this case, you've got a t. A lot of times, like most often with function notation, what you'll see is, and we're going to see it here in a minute, you see f of x equals y, for example. F of x equals y. Well, right here, x is your independent, y is your dependent. We'll see some of this coming up. Okay, write a function rule based on the table below. So you've got x right here, and you've got, this is called f of x right here. This is f of x. So it's what happens to the function when x has this kind of value. And like, for example, you would read this choice as f of x equals x minus 1. F of x equals x squared minus 1. F of x equals 2x plus 1. F of x equals 2x minus 1. To do this, let's go over here. We're going to use, let's use Desmos over here. All right, let's try something. I'm going to take this first choice, x minus 1, right here. And I'm just going to plug in some values. For example, I'm going to start with just this plugging in 0. So instead of x minus 1, I'm going to write in 0 minus 1. And you see we get a negative 1, we should, if this is correct, right here. So now let's slide down to the next one, 2. So let's redo this. Let's not have 2 in there, let's have, or 0 in there, let's have 2. 2 minus 1, you get 1. Well, when x is 2, f of x should equal 3, but we're showing a 1. So what that means is that this is not the answer. All right, so let's slide down to the next one. X squared minus 1. Okay, so let's start by going 0 squared minus 1. All right, we get negative 1, which is good here. Let's slide to the next one. Let's make this a 2. Slide right down this table here. 2 squared minus 1 is 3. 3, good so far. Let's keep going. Let's look at the 4. Let's look at 4 squared. 4 squared minus 1, 15. Well, I guess we should have had a 7. All right, so since we didn't get that 7, then this is not the correct answer, choice B. Let's take a look at the next one. So you've got 2. Now I'm going to put this in parentheses. So 2 times 0 plus 1. Okay, we get 1. Well, we should get a negative 1. So this is not it either. It's got to be this last choice, but just to show you why that's right. Okay, 2x minus 1, negative 1. Okay, now plug in a 2. You get 3, which is good here. Make it a 4. We should get 7. We do. And when we get 6, should be 11. Means this right here is what we're looking for. Okay, similar question. Write a function rule based on the table below. All right. I don't know. Let's rather than starting right at the beginning, let's go with this one. Let's try C. So you've got f of x equals 3x plus 5. So let's go 3. Plug in the first x value, which is 0, plus 5. Okay, so we've got 5, 5. That's good. Slide down. Let's make it a 1. Let's see if we get 8. We do. We get 8. We're looking good. Make it a 2. Let's see if we get 11. Got a 2. Got 11. That's good right there. Identify the independent and dependent variable in the statement. Number of hours studying for a class and the grade earned. Okay, independent. So let's just think real simply about this. Your grade a lot of times depends on how much studying you do. So that's the dependent, since it's depending on how much you study. So where are we here? grade earned, right there, that's dependent because it depends on how much you're studying. So grade earned is the dependent variable. That means your independent variable is the number of hours studying. Where is that? Number of hours studying is the independent. Okay. Nothing is really depending on that in terms of this relationship. If you're thinking about time studying and grade of course depends on that. For example, the amount of money you earn depends on how much you get paid per hour, for example. So the amount of money you earn is dependent. Okay, which function rule matches the graph below? All right, so we've got this thing right here. That's a parabola, but you probably knew that. That's a parabola. Now, where parabolas come from is anything within x squared. So all of these are x squareds. The other thing, too, to notice how this thing right here, that's called your vertex. All right, that's all the way up at that 3. Now, what makes it do that, the reason that's the case is because of this plus 3 right here. So that's that right there. Now, this thing, of course, that's a straight line. So what you're looking at is a linear equation. Anything with a straight line is called a linear equation. Now, what that means is you don't have anything with an x squared. It's like right away, this one is out, no x squareds. The other thing, one thing to look at is this spot right here. It's called your y-intercept. And what that represents then is where that thing is crossing the y-axis. It's crossing at 3. Now what makes that happen then is this plus 3 right there. So I can't fill that in. Okay, and the last one, identify the dependent variable in the statement. The amount of effort put into studying for an exam. Dependent. Oh, depending. The amount of effort put into studying for an exam. For an extra, how much the exam is worth. Okay, so the amount of effort you put in is probably dependent on how much it's worth. Meaning, if a test isn't worth very much, you might not put a whole lot of effort into studying. However, if it's worth a whole lot, you're going to put more effort into studying. So that's why the amount of effort is dependent. Good luck.